Hey everyone, I'm super excited to talk about product recommendation quizzes, e-commerce quizzes, capturing more zero-party data quizzes, whatever you call it. It's a quiz to capture more data, capture more emails, and of course, get the right product recommendation to the customer so they make a buying decision right away on your site. So capturing more revenue is kind of our result here. So what is a product recommendation quiz? It's just a series of questions that you're asking them to find the right product for them. So you're asking them, just pretty much imagine if someone comes to your physical store, if you had one, and you're asking them a series of questions to understand, hey, what is the right product for them? The beautiful thing about a product recommendation quiz is multifold. One, you're capturing a lot of data on them. So every time they click on something, you have a little bit more knowledge about them. Two, you're explaining the why. It's not just about the product result. It's about, hey, you answered this, so this is why it's the right product for you. It's kind of giving that salesperson feel of why you should be kind of recommending that solution. Kind of like you're the expert here. You're not just a salesperson, not just a website, you're an expert, and kind of creating this formulaic logic to figure out what is the right pillow for them. This is really hard to do online. People always like to go in store for this reason. They want to ask someone as an expert, what is the right thing for me? And this is what we're doing. We're bringing this quiz to life on your site to kind of recommend the right product for them. It's really powerful if you use it in the right way. I'm gonna be going through kind of some tips, tactics. We've launched hundreds of these now, so what has worked and what hasn't worked, we're gonna kind of go through all of that. The first thing is make sure you engage your visitors. So a lot of times you can use it in an ad. So they see an ad and then you go right to a quiz. Other times you can put it in categories, right? So on a specific product category, you can inject kind of a banner that says, hey, take our quiz. They see like a bunch of different product topics, for example, a bunch of different products. Have a banner that floats on that category vertical where they can kind of click this and as a pop-up, take a quiz. Or if you can add a little behavioral targeting. So for example, on exit, so if they exit the page without making a purchase, you show it as a pop-up, or you kind of have something float on the side if you know they're idling on the page for, let's say, 10 to 15 seconds. So make sure you're engaging the visitor at the right time. That's probably the most important step to get people to the quiz when the time is right. The second thing is make sure you gate the quiz. I've taken a lot of recommendation quizzes where they just show the recommendation. Now that's great. It's great to show the recommendation. I'm not saying you don't, but always gate it. We always see better results with gated because then you can take this email and you can add it to your email marketing system, your CRM system, and make sure you don't just send the email address. You want to send everything that they click on as well. Because hey, down the line, 6 months down the line, a year down the line, you have that data that, hey, this person is sleeping on their back, so let me send them an email with the perfect pillow for their back, or whatever you're asking them. You want all that first-party data to be able to segment and target them with new emails, new content, and we're gonna talk a little bit more of that later, but getting the email is extremely valuable. It always outperforms showing the recommendation. Now, if you're kind of on the fence on it, I understand. You still want to get the recommendation. So add like a no thanks, and you can make it even bigger. Just say, hey, I'm not ready to give you my email address, but I'm going to add a big prominent no thanks link just to show you the recommendations right away. Now, you can also incentivize it a little bit. You can offer a discount code. You can answer, hey, we'll email you the results. You can add a few kind of tactics to get that email address. Now, that email address is very important, especially all that data. So you want to make sure that it's funneling all into your CRM system, your email marketing system. So you can then do this next step, which is send them an email. Now, this is important for a lot of reasons. One, if you're giving a coupon code, make sure you show that one-time use coupon code right then and there. The second reason is a lot of times, especially if the order item is over like $100, you're going to think about it. You're going to ask your friends about it, your significant other, your spouse about it. So definitely send the recommendation in an email so they can forward it on, get their kind of opinions on it. They can kind of think about it. And then you can remind them as well, but definitely send it via email as well. A lot of people don't buy right away. They want to do the research. They want to think about it. They want to share it. So understand that that email is very important. The next thing that's huge that people don't do, they're entering all this information. Every time they click on something, every time they click on one of the questions, that data should go to your ad system. So things like Facebook, where you're advertising through Facebook, Google AdWords, anywhere you're advertising, send that data through as a segment and then target on it. So for example, if I said, I'm into, necklaces, or in this case, watches that are analog, now everywhere on the website, we're gonna see analog watches, for example. So that is a huge way. Then they come back to your site, they kind of pick up where they left off. And then if they come back to your site, whether it's an ad or not, you should remember that and then show them a discount or some kind of relevant offer around analog watches here, for example. So if you know that data, let's start personalizing it. Or better yet, change your website a little bit to talk about analog watches. Maybe put a banner at the top of your site that talks about analog watches. Now, if you can detect that, hey, they took the quiz, but they didn't make a purchase, that is really good information. So now you know a little bit about them. So in this case, hey, they know they are a side sleeper. And if you are offering a coupon, repurpose that coupon code as a banner. Follow them from page to page and show, hey, we still exist. We know you're this type of person, that you want this type of product. And here's your coupon code that's waiting for you to make that purchase. Because remember, the goal is to actually, at the end of the day, get that sale. So we want to remind them of the kind of the personalization recommendation plus that coupon code if you're offering one. And on coupon codes, you want to make sure it's a one-time use coupon code. Don't use something like welcome 10 because that doesn't create any urgency. And you want to create an expiration around it as well. 1 week or a month, some kind of expiration to get them to actually make the purchase and flip the switch. The next thing is, now you have all this data. Now, how do you get more data from your existing set of people? You can ask them a series of questions in your email with an embedded kind of widget where you can pass the data back to your email marketing system, and then you can segment your list based on it. So it's not just about new visitors that are coming to your site. It's about taking your old visitor and getting them to selling more things with these quizzes as well. Now, the last kind of step in this is make sure you use an add to cart button. A lot of times what people do is you recommend a product and then they're just throwing back into the actual page where they're actually can read about the products. The goal is you recommend the product and there should be a one-click add to cart button. So all they can do at this point is either close this out or add the item to the cart and check out. So they should go to the checkout page with that item automatically added. And we want to reduce, this one-click add to cart can reduce 3 to 4 steps. And remember, every step kind of adds a 10% friction point, 10% reduction in sales. So you want to eliminate any one of those steps as well. So don't do like a learn more button or check out the product. Do an add to cart button. Now you could also add like a mini link that, maybe they want to read up on the product. You can add a mini link that redirects them to the product. But I always recommend a one-click add to cart button. And if you're recommending multiple products, there's also ways that you could do an add bundle to cart. We have a lot of makeup quizzes, for example, and they offer 3 products or 4 products. Allow them to add all of them at once. And that way they're just checked out, they're kind of done. You want to make it as easy as possible to make the purchase all in one click and everything and things. Now I have some bonus tips. I talked a little bit about this. I just want to highlight it. You want to explain the why you're recommending it, right? It shouldn't be kind of like a fake, it shouldn't feel like a fake quiz. Like there's an algorithm around it, that you put some thought and time into it. You answer these questions in this way, and that's why we're going to recommend it in this way. For example, make sure you show quizzes on exit. If you detect that, hey, they haven't made a purchase, they haven't added an item to the cart, exit intent quiz is the best way to go, especially if you're going to offer a coupon as well. Hey, we're going to figure out what is the right product for you, because maybe they're leaving because they're confused. Maybe they're leaving because they couldn't find what they wanted. So you ask them a series of questions and recommend the product. It's a great way to get them back in and get that email address as well. Always be testing ads. We're seeing a higher return, a higher click-through rate on ads when you're doing a quiz, when you're finding the right perfect. And then we also see good results with the qualifier. So this one is just finding the style, but trying to figure out, hey, is our protein shake right for you? See if it's right to fit your goals. So it's not about finding the right style in this case. It's about finding, hey, is our product right for you in that necessary? So kind of a qualifier question ad works really well. The other thing is, don't just ask the questions that's going to get them the right product. Try to sneak in a few questions that allows you to improve your marketing. In this case, we had a client that realized that people are not buying. He thought that this customer thought they were buying for someone else a lot, but it turned out most people coming to the site were buying for themselves. And therefore, they were able to kind of re-engage their entire marketing to be all about buying it for yourselves rather than as a gift. So they actually changed their entire marketing message all about buying for you and why it's great for you instead of great for someone else, and makes a great gift. The last thing that I have a few more tips. Allow the shoppers to email the results. So if it's like a branded quiz, allow them to kind of share it. Allow them to share it with their spouse really easily with one click, enter their email address, and they could share the quiz results. Sometimes it's a contractor buying it for a client. Sometimes it's a spouse buying it for a husband. Sometimes it's a boyfriend buying it for a girlfriend. So sometimes it's just friends like, hey, what do you think about this? Or maybe it's roommates buying it for this. So we don't know what their life situation is. Allow them to share it. There's other people that are always involved in the buying decision. So if your brand is one of those, is if you believe that's it, allow them to share it. Also, allow for social sharing. Hey guys, check out this recommendation that I got. This is the perfect thing for me, and allows that social proof happening a lot as well. always use tooltips. If you believe the customer is going to have questions about your question, have a hover effect or a tooltip to learn how I can make these measurements. It's really hard to understand how I even need to measure a bathing suit, or really anything. So allow them to click on things and kind of research how they should go about answering the question. Next thing, this thing we've seen quite a bit. A lot of people like these sliders that they can go back and forth. They don't work well on mobile. Always use taps on mobile. So something you can hit a thumb with. Try to avoid things like input fields. Try to avoid things like sliders. Anything that you can click and just auto progress, that is huge. So auto progression is big time. So as soon as you click on something, it just moves to the next question. You can get under 8 questions done very quickly, under a minute when you do it that way. Now, monitor your drop-off rates, right? And cut questions that are killing your drop-off. So for example, if you notice here, from getting started to the next question, we're seeing a little bit of drop-off. I would actually recommend in this case, just getting rid of the intro slide of getting started. Drop them in right into the first question to get them super engaged. So you can measure every single question and the drop-off rate, and then just cut the questions that are killing the drop-off rate if it's not needed for the recommendation. So eliminate those questions that are dropping people off. And then last but not least, I talked about this a little bit. I touched about it in a few areas. You want auto-progress image-based questions. We love these. You almost want to feel like, hey, when I view this image, I've already read what I need to do. And as soon as you click on it, you just go to the next step, and it should be extremely quick and fast. And this is Digioh, guys. This is what we do all day in and out. I love making these videos for you. And this is our e-commerce quiz playbook. So thank you so much.